Hello friends, today's topic is 50 and looking for a job. Let's rant.
Are you over 50 and looking for a job and having a hard time doing that? I went back into the workforce after staying home with my daughter for 14 years at the age of 45 with no problems. I worked at that job for several years and then moved into another job in my early 50s, again, no problems. When I interviewed in my early 50s for jobs, I had literally 6 jobs that were offered to me. I could take my pick to what I wanted. Now at 58, I got laid off in November. It is now the middle of March, and I still have not found another job. I have interviewed, I have applied, and either I don't hear back from people after the interview, or I never hear back after I send in the application. It's very strange. So I looked it up. And I've come to find out that older people are not hired a lot of times because of younger bosses. Younger bosses don't want to be working with us oldsters. Our salary expectations are too high because we've been in the workforce. We cannot live on $14 an hour. I don't know how anybody can. Our health benefits are too high. Even though I'm very healthy, knock on wood, haven't had any issues, but I guess a lot of people my age do. So that's another issue. And then you're close to retirement, so they don't want to take the time to train you. And speaking of training, they think that people over 50 have no idea how to turn on a computer. Well, let me tell you, a lot of us do. But I found out in my job search that there is another way to go. There are other jobs out there where you can work for yourself. You don't have to work for a younger boss. You don't have to worry about the benefits. And you could possibly make more money than you ever made at any of the other jobs that you had in your life. So check it out. Look into it. Let me know if you need some help. I'd love to let you know what I found out.
Are you over the age of 50 and been laid off? That was me a few years ago. If it is, then I've got some really bad news for you. Only 10% of you will actually ever make the same amount that you were earning prior to being let go. So basically 90% are going to make less if you can find what that next role is. This Huffington Post article, which I'll post now, basically details and shares the stories from a number of folks that have gone through the process or in the process. And essentially, if you want the data, which this audience seems like data is, 50% of folks over the age of 50 have been laid off. My guess is that number is even higher. This data is about a year old, I think. And part two of that, which is even more unbelievable, is 10% will make what they were making previously. To me, that's ageism. It's really hard to prove. But man, with everything else battling between the layoffs, now I understand why some folks are keeping jobs longer than they need to because they're not happy because they just don't think they're going to be able to earn it. So if this is you and you have been laid off, you have no excuse to look at the other options. You're probably applying, like the folks in this article, to 300 different opportunities for less money. But like I said, and I've talked about in previous posts, you do have options. There are businesses that are hungry for and will appreciate your experience, right? Historically, they haven't been able to afford you, but fractional, even advisory, there's different ways you can structure deals to work with these companies will help you offset that loss of income and quite honestly give you the freedom and flexibility that you cannot have in corporate. And corporate for, the 50 plus is not a good place. And if you're one of those lucky folks that has a good job, you're probably not looking at this video. So like I said, if you've been impacted or you're worried about impacted, it does not hurt to educate yourself. I've got a number of free resources to help you think through this. Like I said, I was one of those impacted before I took control and made a number of mistakes that you can actually learn from. But there is, you can view this as the silver lining. Go see what's out there. It doesn't hurt or cost you anything to educate yourself, and you might be surprised at what the opportunities are out there. So, like I said, I've got a number of free resources. Just click the link in my bio or just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer any specific questions. So, if you're out there, good luck.
just recently got laid off and it is your first week and you're just kind of like trying to figure it out and you're struggling right now, here are 3 things I wish someone would have told me my first week when I got laid off. First is that you are allowed to grieve. It's not just about losing a paycheck. It's about the routine, your coworkers, all of that. Don't skip those feelings. You are allowed to have those. Second, you are still valuable. The layoff doesn't erase your skills, your voice, or your talent. That kind of stuff does not live in your job title. And third, this isn't starting over. This is starting from experience. You've built a life. Now you get to build something on your own terms, whether it be a new career or something of your own. It's yours. If you are in your first week right now, just know you are not alone and it's going to get better. So just keep holding on.
The job market and being over 40 looking for work, I've been laid off and I have had a really hard time this past year trying and looking for something. Now, a lot of you are going through the same things because I have thousands of comments on posts that I do about being laid off at 50 years old. And there are so many stories that you have told me, such as, being super qualified, going and trying to get work at Trader Joe's and being turned down, or just working, like if you are an executive and going and trying to look for an entry-level position, saying you wouldn't be happy here. There's all kinds of stories that I'm hearing. I'm hearing that Workday is in a legal being sued right now because of ageism. Apparently I heard that Workday, if you're over 40, they will just they won't even look at you. A lot of people has told me, look in education, and it gets very defeating because I did apply for a job in education and I did payroll. I even managed payroll for a large company, and it was an entry-level payroll position, but they didn't even look at me because they were only looking at those who had worked at a school before doing payroll. So disregarded anybody that had any kind of payroll experience in the past. And I just feel like that is not okay. Like, why is this happening? I miss the old days when I was a teenager. I would walk in and I would say, hey, is the manager here? And I would say, hey, I'm looking for a job and here's my application. This is what I'm interested in. Talk to the person eye to eye. And we don't do that anymore. Like, I just think the system is so messed up. And I feel like there's something that we need to do about it. I feel like a lot of this, yes, is ageism, but I'm also getting a lot of messages from people saying that their kids that are out of college can't find work. Like, what is going on here? Being ghosted, not being looked at, even if you're qualified. I remember a job that I had. I was laid off around COVID time as well. And I took a job for a nonprofit for a little bit. It was really rewarding. I was working with adults that had special needs, teaching them how to interview and learning people's skills and finding them work, helping them find work. So I used to teach this, and I remember talking to the person that actually recruited me because I had applied to that position beforehand, and I didn't hear anything back. And I had a friend that actually worked there. And so my friend said, hey, so-and-so, Joy's been looking for, been trying to apply. And I became the director in that, because I got promoted. And the girl who was hiring me, she had said, I saw your application and your resume, and I just thought you were way too overqualified for that position. And it taught me something, because here you are, and, it's a great fit. So I don't know. I just think that the system is so messed up. I want to know what you think can be done here. Can we brainstorm and think I would love to, I don't know, I would love to start a movement or something. And because this is not okay. The whole hiring process is just not okay. I used to hire people, and I never once thought in my mind that this person is older, they are not going to be able to do their job or whatever. I would always just think, can they do the job? Are they qualified? I know I'm not like everybody, but I just think this is so unfair. And like, what is going on? What can we do? Can we come together and think of some kind of movement or something to push back? Because I don't know, maybe I'm delusional, but something needs to be done. This is absolutely insane.
So today's my birthday. I am concretely in my mid-50s now. Last year, I was laid off from my job in Silicon Valley, and now I'm spending some time trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing next. I'm not a victim by any means. I chose the space in technology, and I chose the degree that I have. I've got a great family, great wife, nice house, good cars. I've got a lot going for for my situation. But what I've learned over the past year or so in being unemployed and in my mid-50s is that there's an opportunity to share the insights and knowledge that I have with others. And I think I can add value to those people who are also 50 plus and underemployed. So I'm going to do that over the next bit. So let's see how that goes. I hope you're having a great day and, enjoy.
As you get older, it become harder, right? What do you think? Comment down below, and thank you for watching. Until next time.